Hi, Nathaniel Adams here. In the last video, I talked a bit about my business, my history, my background, and how I've built this business up over the past 8 years. Just opened a shop, put a lot of work into it, and I was ready to grow my business, and now, thanks to the tariffs, I'm going to have to go into survival mode. So I'll just explain a little bit about why that is and what exactly these tariffs could do to my business. So I've always been very transparent about the fact that I manufacture my suits in China. I work with a very good high quality factory there. I have done with different brands for the past 15 years. And one of the things that's made my business viable is something called the de minimis exemption, which not a lot of people know about. And what this is that it was first enacted in 1930, and the idea then was that any imports under $200 in value didn't have to pay customs. In 2012, because $200 is not a lot in today's money, they raised that limit to $800. And this is partly because all of these small value packages cost a lot in time, in manpower, and in money to actually check as thoroughly as big shipping containers and things like that. Small businesses like me can take advantage of this and it gives us a bit of a break because we're not importing huge amounts of things. So I can get a package in with just a couple items in it because I'm a small producer and I make one-of-a-kind custom pieces and very small runs of ready-to-wear. So I was able to keep most of my packages or some of my packages under that $800 limit, and I didn't have to pay duties on them. I didn't have to pay that import tax. And that's been a huge boon to me. Now, politicians in both parties have been talking about closing this loophole because big fast fashion brands from China, like Shein and Temu, use it to do direct to customer sales so that they don't have to pay any tariffs whatsoever. The idea to close this loophole is that this would eliminate some of those and give brands that warehouse in the United States an advantage. That makes sense, but the fallout for this, for small businesses like mine, is that now suddenly this 100-year-old rule that I've been relying on to keep my costs down means that I will have to pay not only the already existing tariffs, but all of these new radically insane tariffs that the Trump administration has just enacted. What this means is that I could be paying 150% or more on garments because the tariffs for garments were already high. Obviously, that's not a feasible amount for someone in a small business like mine to pay. Those margins are untenable. For example, pricing on ready-to-wear, a ready-to-wear suit, because I deliberately priced it with the intent that younger people who normally shop at brands like J.Crew would be able to afford it. I used to make a few $100 profit on one of those suits. My back of the envelope calculations show that I might make as little as $25 profit on each suit. $25. That's not tenable, that's not sustainable at all. That will never cover my overhead, much less let me see any profits from my business. The final number could be different from that. Of course, the administration keeps changing its mind about all sorts of things, so I don't know. But in a month, at the beginning of May, they're set to end the de minimis exemption, and my prices look like they're going to go through the roof. So people are starting to learn pretty quickly just how extreme this all is, and the upshot of it is that prices are going to have to go up. Businesses are going to stop hiring. I was hoping to hire someone locally to help me in the shop. I'm not going to be able to do that now. I can't invest. I can't take any risks on. It's really terrifying, and both individual consumers and businesses are going to be holding on to their money. They're not going to be hiring. They're going to be holding on to their wealth instead of spending it because these times are so uncertain and prices are going to go up. So that's across the board with all businesses because these tariffs are so wide and so extreme. So for those of us who are small business owners or who work for a living, we're going to get squeezed by this the most because we spend a lot of our money on goods and services. We don't have as many assets as wealthy people. It's going to hit us the hardest, and it's terrifying. The one thing that working people kind of had left, despite our general lack of assets and wealth, was cheap goods. And now that they've taken that away from us, our real spending power is going to be just negligible. It's going to be really, really scary. It seems like pretty much the only thing that we're going to have left is cheap entertainment, streaming entertainment. And the artists who make those things are already making far less money than they used to for their work. And that's another horrible thing we should be ashamed of. And it looks like if the people in charge can have their way, they'll just replace them all with AI and robots, because working people are disposable to them, and they'll cut whatever cost they can in order to give themselves tax breaks. I'm very angry about all of this, and I've worked so hard to build this business up, to open the shop, and the thought of it just suddenly being taken away from me like that is making me very, very angry. So in the next video, I'll talk about a few things that I might be able to do about it, or what my plan might possibly be going forward. Until then, off I fuck. Thanks so much.